Hey, it's John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and welcome to this Black Belt Leadership Master Your Life moment. Did you know that high performance teams and high performance individuals are seen as the best of the best? People seek them out because they're the best. So in this particular episode of Black Belt Leadership Podcast, I want to talk about what I learned from the Blue Angels. Now, if you've ever had the privilege and the distinction of watching the Blue Angels perform one of their breathtaking aeronautic routines, you've witnessed world-class execution at its finest. High-performance airplanes coming together in formation just feet apart. It's the epitome of world-class perfection on display. Truly black belt masters of their chosen craft or trade. Now, a few years back, I was able to not only watch the Blue Angels perform, I had the opportunity to spend a few minutes visiting with some of the pilots after their air show, and we had an opportunity to talk about how they prepared to perform at such a high level and what that looked like for them. What I walked away with was a lesson that every organization should learn. It's a key to black belt mastery success. Now, for any task or goal or project you're going to go on, there are three phases you've got to go through in the process. For the Blue Angels, the first was planning, the second, preparation, the third, two parts, execution and evaluation. Now, phase one is planning. It's identifying the goal or objective to be achieved or the problem that you want solved, and then what? Formulating a plan to accomplishment. What do we want to do? Why do we want to do it? What does success look like? What are the obstacles I'm likely to encounter that I need to plan and address? What's the process to bring this goal or an objective to pass? Now, the second phase is the one that, in my opinion, is often overlooked. It's often discounted or from time to time simply ignored. It's the preparation phase. Once you've created a plan, before you jump into execution, you need to further refine the plan. Just because you've got a plan doesn't mean it's the best plan or even a good plan. You've just got a plan. And simply because it's the way you've always done it in the past doesn't mean there's not a better solution out there waiting to be considered. Now, during the preparation phase, you're going to take the time to evaluate the plan, to refine the process, and to fine-tune how you're going to execute and perform. For the Blue Angels, they may be performing the same aerial maneuvers over and over, but understand the landscape's always different. Altitude, wind speed and direction, humidity, temperature, and other variables are going to impact how their planes are going to perform. And when you're flying within a few feet of each other at hundreds of miles an hour, one minor miscalculation can be deadly. Now, it's during this critical phase of planning that you often consider the people who are going to be involved, the skill set that's going to be needed, and how they're going to work together as a collaborative, cohesive unit to execute as one. Everyone who's going to be involved in the process of going from point A to point B, you've got to have their buy-in. And that only comes through clear and concise communication. So every single individual, everyone on the team knows what is expected, by whom, and when. Now, this planning stage is also when you consider the resources that are going to be needed or required so the task, the goal, or objective that you are moving towards can be successfully completed. What supplies, what equipment, what tools or machinery, what permits, licenses, hardware, technology, materials, what stuff is going to be needed, acquired, or have to be ordered or delivered so the task or project has what is needed when it's needed. Now, for the Blue Angels, it's not just the pilots, but it's the ground crew. It's the maintenance crew. It's the support staff who prep the planes and the pilots who fly them. It's calculating the fuel loads and bringing the appropriate diagnostic and support equipment, the appropriate tools and supplies to keep the planes in top operating condition so they can endure the stress and the strains placed upon them flying at hundreds of miles an hour. It's checking and rechecking not only the plane, but the flight suits, the radio transmission equipment, and so much more. Now, this is where a lot of teams and organizations miss it. They want to move from planning immediately into execution without first taking time to re-examine and refine the plan, to consider all the contingencies and identify all of the resources that are going to be needed, and ultimately to formulate a plan to get the resources there at the right time. It's why so many great ideas never get to the finish line, or they only do so after a series of starts, stops, and restarts. Now, this is how projects fall behind, deadlines are missed, and companies lose not only money, but their reputation in the marketplace. Now, the final phase is execution. If proper planning and proper preparation are completed up front, execution is the natural next step. You've identified what needs to be done. You've refined the plan. You've effectively communicated it to those who are going to be involved. Everyone's got buy-in. They're ready, willing, and able to commit their best efforts to the task at hand to see that it gets done. Now, you've also identified all the resources that are going to be necessary for this project to get completed without endless delays. Your people know what they need, when they need it, so you're not wasting time and money to have to expedite a last-minute delivery of items to a job site or to your office that should have already been there waiting for you to pick them up and implement them and use them in the goal pursuit of accomplishing whatever it is that you're seeking to accomplish. So with all the preparation, all the planning done, you've got everything you need to execute and to do so with Black Belt Excellence. This makes the accomplishment of any goal or task or objective or project less stressful, more engaging, and it gets things done early, under budget, or at least on time and on budget. Now, one of the often ignored elements of the execution phase I learned from my conversation with these Blue Angel pilots is the evaluation component. After every air show, I found this interesting. After every air show, the pilots gather to review their performance. They talk about what they executed well, what they did okay, and where they could have performed better. One of the pilots shared with me that each team member openly shares their missed it moments and make a pledge to the team that they will improve in that area. No matter what we're good at, whatever it is that we do, there's always going to be some element of any project, of any goal, and of any objective that we miss it ever so slightly. Now, Black Belt Excellence demands that we recognize and acknowledge these shortcomings, as this is how we continue to improve, how we continue to grow, and how we continue to execute at a higher level every time it's our turn to perform at our chosen craft, profession, or trade. So what's your takeaway this week? Understand this: you're leading your own Blue Angel team, whether it's your family, your coworkers, your employees, or volunteers in your nonprofit. If you want to get more done in less time and get it done right the first time, you've got to plan and then prepare, and only then execute and then evaluate. This is how high performance teams, individuals, and organizations stand out from the rest. It's truly how you become seen as the best of the best, and people begin to seek you out for that reason. Now, if you are willing to settle for less than Black Belt Excellence, those you are leading are never going to truly rise of the ranks of becoming a Black Belt master at their chosen craft, profession, or trade, and you won't either. Remember, anybody can do mediocre, anybody can do average, anybody can do half done, but it takes something more to be exceptional. And don't forget, nobody flocks to an air show to see mediocre, average, lackluster, or half done. They're either going to seek you out because you are high performance and they want the very best, or they're not going to seek you out if you are willing to settle for less. So, lesson learned, Blue Angels. Thank you for what you've taught me. Preparation comes in between planning and execution, and it's the evaluation on the back end that allows us to continue to hone, improve, and become ever better at doing what it is we've been called to do. I'm John Terry, the Black Belt Leader. Thanks for joining me for this Black Belt Leadership Master Your Life moment. Have a great day.